big announcement for you on Saturday. Just talk a little bit about what was kind of the selling point, final selling point on you going to Indiana.
Final selling point was just talking it over with me, my mom, and my coach. And once we got to a full agreement, we just thought doing it as soon as possible would be better.
I guess going back a couple months, when did you know that IU was kind of getting ahead of everybody else? When did you know that IU was kind of maybe ahead of everybody else?
I felt that when I went on my official there. It felt real good. Felt really at home. The guys welcomed me, and it just felt right.
Development-wise, just talk a little bit about where you are as a player and kind of where you want to be, maybe a couple months from now even.
I feel like I've come a long way from being a good player, adding on weight the right way, being more of a vocal point on the offensive end, defensive end, we're still keeping that intensity, but also want to work more on gaining more weight the right way, footwork also too.
I know going back to kind of the McDonald's week, some of the interviews you talked about, Indiana was after you the hardest. Throughout the whole process, what did they do as far as recruiting-wise to kind of separate themselves from some of the other schools?
Some of those they separate themselves by always being there, always staying in contact, and always telling me that I'll be that vocal point in their offense and defense, and always wanting me, they've been there since day one, and I still like that when they still try to recruit you still.
Along those same lines, what was their big sales pitch? I know you were saying they were sending you a ton of letters. What were they saying?
They're just saying that you're the next guy up. You're next to be. You can be the one that can be another vocal point for us.
Who did you hear from most at IU? Is it Coach Green or Chuck Martin? Who was kind of the lead guy?
I heard most from Chuck Martin. Me and him talked on a daily basis, real often. I would say, if not every day, every other day.
What do you like about him, basically?
He's a down-to-earth guy. He's from New York, just like me, and he was real good. Real nice to my mom. And him and my mom were real good at first, and still are good. And he was just real welcoming. I just love him.
When you look at Indiana's roster with all the shooting they have, was that a big selling point for you to kind of be a big man in there and know that you've got all those weapons around you and it's not going to be easy for guys to double team?
Oh yeah, of course, because you gotta look at what the roster is and what they're giving you too. When you have all those weapons around you and shooters, having one big vocal point down there in the middle, that can be a real big problem from other teams, and I see that, and just trying to continue to develop and help them, I hope to be a real good player for them.
How have these last couple of weeks helped, playing in the McDonald's game, playing in the playoffs, playing in games like this? How much have those helped you to go against such talented?
It helped me a lot, it helped me as a person and as a basketball player, and and also being at the McDonald's and going back to play in the Dix National Tournament also taught me a little bit more mental toughness as well.
When do you plan on getting down to Bloomington? Have you thought about that at all, or they talked to you about that?
They haven't talked to me about it yet, but pretty soon I'm planning on getting down there.
As far you talked a little bit about getting everybody on the same page. Was there any, I guess from your family, the distance factor, was that anything that they were concerned about, or kind of, and what were those conversations like when you got towards the end?
Oh yeah, of course my mom was on the distance standpoint, but she also knew, I sat down and talked with her, this is the best decision for me. Even if it does mean to be away from home, she understood that. She was getting around to it, and then she finally came through.
I know you can sign a letter, I guess, coming up soon. Is that something you plan to do?
Yeah.
Letter of intent? Is that the first day you're hoping to do that, or?
Maybe, I don't know yet.
Hey, Thomas, who's coming in? Just can you kind of reflect on your reason for picking Indiana this past week?
It was just a great atmosphere, Everybody welcomed me, and they all wanted me. They opened me they came to me with open arms, and looking at Crean's standpoint where he had Noah Vonleh and Cody Zeller and Victor Oladipo, those guys came there and they're still playing at IU to this day. They're still playing in the NBA and when they got drafted, and that means that Coach Green's doing the right thing at IU.
What did you see about just that they were such a perimeter-oriented team, that they didn't have that go-to big guy? Did you feel like that was a spot that you could elevate them?
Of course, I felt that was a spot that I could really elevate them in, and really give a real good offensive standpoint and defensive standpoint for him.
Have you been able to meet OG and Juwan yet?
Yeah, I've just met OG and everything. I haven't met Juwan yet.
How much do you know about their games? What you know?
I don't know a lot about them, but I heard they're pretty damn good. So.
What do you kind of think of what Indiana's team could be like next year with the guys coming back and the new additions?
I think with the guys coming back and the new additions to the team, it could be a real great team. Those guys had a rough year last year, and I feel like just with this little bit and with the team that we have now, and the recruits that are coming in, especially and with me, it could be a real special team.
What was you committed on TV? Did you talk to Coach Crean before then? Had you already committed to him before then?
I told him to watch ESPN right then and there when I told him.
Did you text him and be like,
"Yeah, watch ESPN now."
What did he say after when you had a chance to talk to him?
They were just screaming and they're just happy. They were just screaming out "woo" and everything. It's like we made it, Thomas Bryant, and that was just a great feeling.
I mean, how much of it was a relief for you to kind of get everything over with? I'm sure you've been asked for several years now where you're going to end up. Just now that it's over, I mean, does it feel like kind of a weight's been lifted off your shoulder?
Oh yeah, of course. It feels like a big weight lifted off you because you don't have to worry about whether you feel like this college is for you or the other one is for you, or feel like do I want to go to this one or that one, or which one is really good for me. I figured that out real well, and I feel like Indiana is the best fit for me, and I feel 100% great in my decision.
How much did you value the fact that they were really coming after you really hard?
I value that real much, because it's one thing for somebody to recruit you when you're at home, when you're at home in New York, they not so far away, but it's another thing when they actually come to try and recruit you even more when you're away. I take that into a lot of consideration.
What do you kind of just think about, is what I mentioned to you earlier, but just Blackman, Rob Johnson, Yogi, these guys that can really fill it up from the outside. What do you kind of think about just kind of joining the team with those guys?
I feel great, coming in with them because, me and James had chemistry too, and when we went to camps, we were always good and playing against Rob, and talking with him and everything. We became close too. So I feel like it's real good.
How well do you know some of those guys? You mentioned that you know a couple of them. But
I know a couple of them, but I know Emmett Holt the most real well because me and him played against each other when we were in Rochester, and also played on the same team a couple times. So me and him were real close growing up.
Do you think you guys can play together on the court well?
Oh yeah, I feel I can play with anybody together on the court. I'm not that kind of person where nobody wants to play with me, or you can't play with this person, or I can't play with this person, or anything like that.
What do you think is like a realistic goal for Indiana next year?
I feel like a realistic goal is just proving all those doubters wrong and winning some games.
I mean, like Big Ten championship.
Of course, yeah. I would say
making a tournament. What is the goal, and how high do you set the bar there?
I set the bar. Even me as coming in as a freshman, I would say NCAA champion, but I got to work for that and everything. I got to put the hard work in, and I would say Big Ten champion too.
Are you wanting to be one and done?
If it's there, but I feel like I'm going to be there for 2 years. Just to work on development and just to enjoy college. You only get to do this once. Why rush it?
What coach